Imagine sitting in a courtroom, the air thick with tension, your heart racing as you wait for the judge to call your case. You're just an ordinary person trying to survive, trying to protect your family. But suddenly, the woman across from you, a stranger, begins to speak, and her words hit you like a punch to the gut. She demands the death penalty for your pregnant wife. Yes, you heard that right. The woman you've never met, who has no idea who you are or the secrets you're holding, is asking for the ultimate punishment for someone you love more than anything. But it doesn't end there. As her voice echoes through the courtroom, you feel an unsettling chill. This isn't just a legal battle, it's personal, and you're about to find out just how deeply it cuts. You've lived a quiet life, a life where you kept to yourself and never asked for attention. But now, in this moment, everything changes. The courtroom that once seemed like a place of justice now feels like a battlefield where your entire existence is on the line. But the thing no one knows, the thing that could turn everything upside down, is that you're not just any ordinary person. You've been hiding in plain sight, and the woman accusing you and your wife has no idea who she's really up against. She doesn't know the power you hold or the truth you've been concealing. This is a game where the rules are about to change. With every word she speaks, with every eye in the room fixed on you, you realize this moment could define your life forever. It's a twisted game of fate, and you've just entered the final round. Will you survive? Will you protect the one person who matters most? Or will you lose everything, including the future you had been fighting to build? Keep watching, because what happens next will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about justice, power, and the lengths one person will go to when pushed to the edge. As the silence in the courtroom stretches, you can't help but feel the weight of every eye on you. The woman who has just made her shocking demand, Karen as everyone calls her, stands tall, her posture stiff with self-righteousness. She's the one who has accused your pregnant wife of unspeakable things, but it's not the accusations that hit hardest. It's the venom in her voice, the certainty with which she condemns a person she's never even met. To her, it's just another case. But to you, it's everything. You glance at your wife, sitting beside you, her hand resting gently on her swollen belly. She's calm, but you can see the worry in her eyes, the anxiety that she's trying so desperately to hide. She's innocent, you know that. But how do you convince a room full of strangers who don't know the first thing about the love you've built, the struggles you've overcome, that she's telling the truth? How do you prove that Karen's words are nothing more than a lie? And then there's you, the person everyone has underestimated, the one who's always stayed in the shadows, keeping your life quiet, hoping that the world wouldn't notice you. But this moment, this trial, has forced you into the spotlight, and you're not ready to just sit back and watch as your world crumbles. You're not some bystander in your own life. You've spent years building a career, raising a family, and creating a life that no one thought you deserved. You're a judge, a respected figure in the legal system, but today, none of that matters. Today, it's not about your title. It's about survival. It's about protecting the woman who holds your heart, the one person who has stood by you through everything. But Karen doesn't know that. She doesn't know that you're not just the man she sees sitting there quietly in a courtroom. You're the one who has the power to turn this whole situation around. The conflict isn't just legal, it's deeply personal. The courtroom is filled with people who see you as a figure of authority, but all you can think about is your wife, the future you're trying to protect. You never imagined that your life would spiral into this kind of chaos. But here you are, standing at the crossroads of everything you've worked for and everything you're willing to risk to keep your family safe. But as you sit there, your mind racing, you realize that Karen doesn't know the truth. She doesn't know who you really are, what you're capable of, and what's at stake here. She thinks she's won. She thinks she has the power. But she's about to find out how wrong she is. You're not just going to sit back and let her destroy everything you've built. It's time to fight back. This courtroom drama isn't just a battle for your wife's innocence, it's a test of your own strength. And the stakes are higher than you ever could have imagined. Will you be able to keep your composure and outwit the woman who has launched a personal attack against your family? Or Will you let the anger and fear cloud your judgment? The tension is unbearable, and as the trial continues, you know that the truth will soon come to light, but it will come at a price, one that could change everything forever. The room feels smaller now, every breath you take heavier than the last. Karen's words still echo in your mind, each one like a hammer pounding against your skull. The death penalty. You can barely believe it, but she's serious. She's standing there, her expression hard, her tone unwavering, as if she's certain that justice will be served in the way she sees fit. It's not just about the words she said, it's the way she says them, with such conviction, that makes it all the more chilling. This isn't just an accusation. This is an attack on your family, on your wife's life, and it's coming from someone who doesn't even know the full story. You turn to your wife, her hand trembling slightly as she grips yours. Her eyes are wide with fear, but there's something else in them too, something that makes your heart ache. It's a quiet plea for you to protect her, to make sure that she and your unborn child remain safe. The stakes are higher than ever. This isn't just a trial for your wife's life, it's a trial for everything you've ever loved and worked for. The prosecutor begins to speak, but you barely hear them. Your thoughts are consumed with the words Karen just spat, the accusation that has poisoned the air between you all. It's as if the room has become a battlefield and you, your wife, and Karen are the soldiers, fighting not just for justice, but for survival. You can feel the eyes of the courtroom on you, waiting for you to speak, for you to defend your wife. But how do you begin to fight back against something as outrageous as this? How do you challenge a demand for the death penalty when you're not even sure how you got here? How did it come to this point where a simple accusation could unravel everything? Your mind races through the possible defenses, but each one feels hollow. The evidence is stacked against you, and no one seems to be listening to the truth. It's all a blur. Witnesses who've been coached, testimonies that seem rehearsed, and Karen's face in the crowd, watching, waiting for her victory. But then it hits you. A plan begins to form in your mind, one that could change the entire trajectory of the trial. You've been trained for moments like this, trained to analyze every situation, to see things for what they truly are. You realize that this trial isn't just about clearing your wife's name. It's about turning the tide and exposing Karen for the fraud she is. You stand up, your voice steady despite the chaos swirling inside you. The room falls silent, everyone's eyes on you as you begin to speak. You can feel the weight of the moment pressing down on your shoulders, but you know this is the only chance you have. This is your moment to fight, not just for your wife's life, but for your family's future. Ladies and gentlemen of the court, you begin your voice unwavering. What we have here is a case not of truth, but of manipulation. We've all heard the accusations, but what we haven't heard is the full story. The real question is, who is the real victim here? The prosecutor shifts uncomfortably in their seat, sensing that something is about to shift. You continue, the words flowing more freely now, as if you've unlocked something inside yourself that you didn't know existed. This isn't about justice anymore. This is about power. Karen is using this court to attack my family, and she's doing it with lies, half-truths, and manipulation. The real question here is not whether my wife deserves the death penalty, but why Karen is so desperate to see her punished. The truth is, Karen has been hiding something that's far worse than anything we've been accused of. A murmur ripples through the courtroom, and for the first time, you feel a shift in the room. People are listening now, their attention fully on you. The air is thick with anticipation, and you know that the moment of truth is approaching. You take a deep breath, knowing that you can't afford to back down. You've fought too long, too hard for this moment. It's time we stop playing by Karen's rules and start playing by ours. The truth will come out, whether she likes it or not. The tension in the room is palpable now. Karen looks at you, her expression hardening, but you can see the flicker of doubt in her eyes. She's realizing something. This isn't the easy win she thought it would be. You've just shifted the dynamic, and the courtroom is on the edge of their seats, waiting to see what comes next. But as the prosecutor stands up to speak, you know this is only the beginning. The fight isn't over yet. You've just made the first move. Now, it's time to play the game to win. The air is thick with tension. The entire courtroom seems to hold its breath, waiting for the next move. You've just dropped the first bombshell in your defense, and it's clear Karen's confidence is slipping. The prosecutor rises to counter, but you can sense the hesitation in their step, the uncertainty creeping into their words. It's as if the ground beneath them has shifted, and they know they no longer have full control over this case. You can almost see it in their eyes. This is not going the way they thought it would. Karen is furious, her face turning a deep shade of red as she leans forward, her hands clenched into fists on the table. She wasn't expecting this. She wasn't expecting someone to fight back with this much force, this much conviction. For the first time in this trial, the power balance has shifted, and Karen knows she's no longer in control. You've set your trap. Slowly, carefully, you've been working towards this moment for days, weeks, even. The evidence you've been gathering, the pieces of Karen's story that didn't add up, the inconsistencies in her testimony. They all come rushing back to you now, a flood of information that you can't ignore. You know exactly what you need to do next. It's time to turn the tables completely. With a calm that surprises even you rise from your seat. Every pair of eyes in the room follows you as you approach the witness stand. Your Honor, I would like to submit new evidence, you say, your voice steady and unwavering. There's a moment of silence, a brief hesitation. The judge nods, giving you permission to proceed. You've caught their attention, and they know this could change everything. You pull out a folder from beneath your jacket, the contents of which you've carefully arranged to reveal Karen's secrets. This isn't just about her lies in the courtroom. This is about what she's been hiding from everyone, about the dark truth behind her accusations. The truth that could dismantle her entire case. With a sense of finality, you present the evidence, photographs, documents, and testimonies that prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that Karen has been involved in a much larger conspiracy. The web of lies she's spun is far more intricate than anyone could have imagined. The courtroom goes quiet as the weight of the revelation settles in. Karen's face pales as the evidence is laid out in front of her. The room is in shock. Nobody expected this. Nobody saw this coming. You can feel the shift in the atmosphere as the tide turns in your favor. For a brief moment, you meet Karen's eyes. The confidence she once had is gone, replaced by something far more dangerous, fear. You've been using this trial to mask your own crimes, Karen, you say, your voice cold now, the truth cutting through the tension like a blade. But the truth has a way of coming to light, no matter how hard you try to bury it. The judge looks at the evidence, then back at Karen, his expression unreadable. The prosecutor stands motionless, struggling to process the twist in the case. You've done it. You've exposed her, and now it's only a matter of time before the courtroom sees what Karen really is. The room is stunned into silence. You've won this round, but you know it's not over yet. The battle may be won, but the war is far from finished. There's still more to uncover, more to expose. But for now, you've turned the tide. You've made your move. And for the first time in this trial, it feels like justice might actually prevail. The silence in the courtroom is deafening. The weight of the evidence you just presented hangs heavy in the air. Every eye trained on Karen as she begins to unravel. Her hands tremble slightly. And for the first time in this entire trial, she looks vulnerable, something you never thought you'd see. The once confident woman who demanded the death penalty for your wife is now cornered, trapped in the very web of lies she spun. The judge doesn't immediately speak. He studies the evidence carefully, flipping through the documents you've submitted, his eyes narrowing as he digests the full scope of what's been uncovered. The prosecutor, too, looks stunned. They were ready to close the case with a win, to stand triumphantly and announce your wife's condemnation. But that was before you exposed Karen for who she truly was, a fraud. Karen's eyes dart around the room, looking for an escape, but there's no place left to hide. The truth is out. She can't take it back, and now it's too late. You feel a wave of relief wash over you, but it's quickly tempered by the knowledge that the battle isn't over yet. This revelation is huge, but you're not sure how far the ripples will spread. What will happen next? What consequences will Karen face for her actions? The judge finally speaks, his voice steady but with an edge of sternness. Given the nature of the evidence and the gravity of the situation, we will adjourn to deliberate further, he says, his gaze fixed firmly on Karen. The court will reconvene in 1 hour. The courtroom erupts into a quiet murmur as people begin to stand, the tension lifting slightly as the immediate danger fades. You glance at your wife, her eyes wide with a mixture of shock and hope. She squeezes your hand, a silent thank you for everything you've done. But even in this moment of victory, there's a sense of unease. You know this isn't the end. It's just another chapter in a much larger story. You turn your attention to Karen one last time. She's not looking at you anymore. Her gaze is fixed on the floor, her expression broken. You don't feel sorry for her. You've seen what she's capable of, and now there's no way she'll escape the consequences of her actions. The truth is finally in the light, but you can't help but wonder. How far will Karen go to protect her secrets? And what will she do next, now that the game is no longer in her hands? As the courtroom clears, you know that the hardest part might be yet to come. The courtroom has finally fallen silent. The battle for your wife's life, for your family's future, is far from over. But in this moment, you can feel the weight of the truth pushing back against the darkness. The evidence you presented has shattered Karen's carefully constructed narrative, and for the first time in this trial, you feel a glimmer of hope. The pendulum has swung in your favor, but there's still so much left to resolve. Karen may have been exposed, but the road ahead is uncertain. What will the judge decide? What repercussions will Karen face for her actions? As the door to the courtroom closes behind you, you find yourself standing next to your wife, still holding her hand. You both know this isn't just about clearing her name, it's about justice. It's about holding people accountable for their actions, no matter how powerful they think they are. You've fought for your family for the truth, and now you wait, knowing that whatever happens next, you'll continue to stand strong side by side. But this isn't the end. It's only the beginning of a new chapter. If you want to know how this story unfolds, if you want to see what happens when the truth is finally revealed, make sure to subscribe to the HOA stories. You don't want to miss what's coming next. The real fight is just beginning, and you'll want to be here to see how the truth continues to unravel. Remember, justice always finds a way, and in the end, the truth always prevails. As you walk out of the courtroom, the weight of the trial presses down on your shoulders. The truth has been exposed, but you know this battle isn't over. Karen may have been cornered, but something tells you she's not done fighting. The look in her eyes before she left the stand, she's hiding something. You can feel it deep down. The truth she's been hiding, it's far darker than anything you've seen so far. You're not the only one who's been playing a game in that courtroom. And now, you'll have to dig deeper than ever to uncover what's really going on. Because Karen isn't just an ordinary woman, she's a force to be reckoned with. And the secrets she's buried could change everything you thought you knew. Will the truth come crashing down, or will Karen find a way to turn the tables once again? There's more to this story, much more. And the next twist? It's something you won't see coming. Make sure to stay tuned for the next chapter of the HOA stories, because the real danger is just getting started. You won't believe what happens next